Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to another Opposition View, where we are looking ahead to our New Year's Day fixture at Goodison, Everton versus West Ham. And I'm joined, of course, by West Ham Fan TV. Once again, we are joined by Dan Lawless. A warm welcome to the show again, of course. I think you were on the show with us for the Cup game a few months back. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, no, it's less said about that cup game, the better. Looking at that, but yeah, no, it's been a crazy month, with just fixtures packed all over the place. So, but looking forward to the game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're probably looking forward to it even more so than you guys, considering you have a lot of fixtures. We had one postponed due to the virus 2 days ago. So, I think it just makes, given that we're in a good run of form as well, I think it's just making people chomping at the bit to hopefully see this game on New Year's Day.
Yeah, it's a tough one that with the fixture because, you look at it, it's probably a bit unfair, but it's not like it's Everton's fault. Really, when you look at the circumstances, it's just frustrating from a West Ham point of view, where we've played obviously Brighton, then had a day's rest, then played Southampton, then 2 days, and then we play you guys. And with some of the injuries that we've had, it's tough, but hopefully, we can just get on with it and we can get past this game and get something out of it, and then we've got hopefully a bit of time to collect ourselves.
Yeah, we've had a wretched bit of luck this season with injuries, of course, but we'll get onto that later on. We'll start with the recent form, of course. You guys are 10th at the moment. You've got 6 wins, 5 draws, and 5 defeats. It's very steady stuff from West Ham this season. Very Moyes-esque, I might add. In the opposition view that you did for us last time, you weren't that confident in the fixtures that you had. You've been playing a lot of tough teams. Are you quite happy with how they've gone on since? That's been quite steady since that cup game, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it was when we first looked at that fixture run, obviously apart from Newcastle, which was the game we lost and was really poor in, but it was just looking at, it was like, where are the points going to come from? At the time when you was looking at like Wolves, Leicester, Liverpool, Man City, Tottenham, Arsenal, before we knew how they would turn out in the season. But I have to give credit to Moyes. He's done really well to come out of that with actually, really good performances and a decent points haul, of that. So, and then when we went on to like the Fulhams or Sheffield Uniteds, that's where you're worried, like, okay, you're going to put the performances against the bigger teams and then we're going to capitulate here. But we still came out and got the 3 points. So, yeah, like you said, it's steady. A few times where Man United and Chelsea, where we played brilliant, but just didn't take our chances. And that is what has let us down, is just not taking our chances, even though we've scored quite a few this season. That's frustrating for me.
Yeah, it's been an interesting one for you guys this season. It seems like a far more respectable showing this season from what we saw under both Moyes and Pellegrini last season. Obviously, you're well cleared of trouble. You're not going to be anywhere near relegation this season. I think it's got to be looking. You've got to be looking good for the top half finish, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be key to see if we can keep Antonio fit, because he's been such a key player for us towards the end of last season and coming into the start of this season. He was up there with being one of the most informed strikers since lockdown happened, so that's including last season. Obviously, Calvert-Lewin's been informed, but he's a sort of really picked up this season, but it was sort of over that period. So he has been so crucial for us, and his goals probably kept us up last season, and to miss him is that is going to play a big part. He's back now.
Back the last couple of games, hasn't he?
Yeah, he was back against Southampton as a sub. He did come back. He was rushed in early. I think it was against Man United, and had to come off injured. So we've been without him for a while. Whether he plays against Everton is another story, whether he starts. But if we can keep him fit, that's going to dictate whether we can go on and push for, a really good top half finish, where we're looking at maybe 8th to 7th type thing. Like, we'll have to see. It's so tight up there. That's the problem.
It's been a very interesting season in terms of points. You're 10, but you're only about 7 or 8 points behind first. I think you're only about, I think you're 9 points behind Liverpool, which is like, a good run of form. You're in the top 4. Yeah. That's the way it's been this season, but it has just been a mad one. When you were on the channel last time, Everton hadn't lost a game at that point. Obviously, we've had a bad run of form, then a better run of form. What do you make of Everton this season? I've not having had like a half a season to sort of have a look at them.
Yeah, I mean, like you started off really, really well, like really strong. People talking about title contenders and things like that. So it would look like, and the signings you made were really good. And then the loss of Richarlison, I think, really hit you guys hard. And I saw a stat to say that you haven't won a game without Richarlison in the side. I think
we ended that against Sheffield United.
Sheffield United, yeah. Apart from that, yeah, so it's tough. It shows how much of a key player he's in, and I was sort of like to see that he's back rather than he's back and Rodriguez is out. Even though Rodriguez has been such a great signing, it seems like Richarlison is more integral to Everton's side, and like you can still, without Rodriguez as good as he is, you can still go and.
Richarlison to us is a bit like Antonio to you guys. He's a good player. He's got ability, but he's a workhorse as well. Whereas Rodriguez is a very gifted player, but isn't known for his work rate, if you know what I mean. He doesn't really get about the pitch. So when the going gets tough, Rodriguez goes missing, as Richarlison usually mucks in. Yeah,
that's the thing. And I think like you guys have finally got a really quality manager. You've had the experience with the Koemans and the Martinez's and things like that. And now you went out and actually showed some ambition and got a proven quality manager. And I'm sure like certain people was having question marks when you did have that poor run, but you've come back and now you're back in like the top 4 now, isn't it? A few points off Liverpool now. So it just goes to show that you just need depth up front. That's the big part that you're missing, is that depth, because you've got the likes of Tosin and things like that. You're just not cutting it.
No, absolutely not. I mean, when you talk about us getting in a top class manager, and Carlo is an absolute top class manager. I thought you guys had that in Pellegrini, and it turns out David Moyes, who's much maligned at times, is doing a far better job. We're actually, the next question I was going to ask you is, what is the West Ham United fan base's general opinion on Moyes? Are you still confident in him? Or
yeah, it's such a mixed one. I mean, with Pellegrini, I think he just literally had enough of the board's interferences. That's what I was sort of hearing from behind the scenes, is they like to interfere. And I think he got fed up with it and sort of down tools. And then Moyes, I wasn't, when we got him back, I wasn't thrilled, but I've been really happy with what he's done. And I think the backroom staff that he's brought in has been brilliant. Like Kevin Nolan and Stuart Pearce and all of them, I think have done a really good job. It's certain decisions that are the things that I struggle with Moyes. The Brighton game, I was so angry that the way he chose to go defensive at home to Brighton, starting Martin Noble. I can understand the need to rotate, but you've got Ben Rama. He didn't rate Ben Rama, but I think the board went and signed him anyway, which I don't particularly agree with. But my point is, Ben Rama's here now, and he's clearly a quality player, and he's resistant to give Ben Rama starts in the league, even though he's looked quality every time he's come on. Whether Moyes is going to go on and actually just go and start him and get over that, we're going to see that. But it's just those certain decisions with substitutions that annoy me, although his substitutions have been getting a bit better.
Has been that for 11 years we had down with Moyes, where there's a lot of things right, but his substitutions were always like your mind would be boggled with.
Yeah, I really want to like him. And I do for a lot of reasons. And I think he comes across like a good guy. And I think there's a lot of good he's done. I mean, looking back to when he was around the first time, what he done with Arnautovic, taking him from the wing and turning him into a really quality striker, similar what he's done to Antonio. Even though Antonio has sort of been played up front before, he was never as good as a striker as he was a winger. Now he's turned him into a really quality striker. So he has that ability to take players and really get the best out of them. But yeah, again, just the substitutions and some of the team selections. But the whole, switching up to that back five, which he did, getting Masuaku, a lot of our fans had a lot of, was given a lot of stick to, and turning Masuaku into such a quality player as a wing back, which a lot of us said he should be there. Like there's a lot he's done right. It's just those few things, there's few little things that are holding me back. And I really want to see is when we've got the pile up out of the way because I know he's trying to rotate to see what team he puts forward and see how we get on there. But yeah, so far, like I said, I'm happy for him to get another contract at the moment.
That's good to hear. I mean, it's obviously been a bit of an up and down spell for both West Ham and Everton and David Moyes. So I think for everyone's sake, it seems like a bit more stability is in the pipeline, which is, I think we can all agree that's for the better.
Yeah, stability is key. That's what we need, and that's changing managers, chopping and changing managers is just not what we need right now, especially with these owners. So you're right, stability is the key, and it's the same with you guys. You just have a manager, and you can get a few seasons under that same manager and try and build something. That's the way forward.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Obviously, we've spoken a little bit about the West Ham squad. Who would you say has been the best West Ham player this season so far?
It's a tough one. Souček has been like unbelievable for us in the middle. Some people are calling him David Moyes' new Fellaini. Like,
yeah, he is a bit like that, isn't
he? He's just one of them midfielders that works so hard, but he can just pop up with a goal, and he's just deadly in the box, absolutely deadly. And yeah, he's been quality for us. Declan Rice has been consistent, although over the picture file up, he hasn't been at his usual best. But yeah, Declan Rice has been brilliant. So we've got a few good players that have had that consistency. Angelo Ogbonna in defence has definitely been unreal. So it's tough. The competition's tight. Like I said, I would say Antonio, but he's missed a lot of the season. So yeah, it's between Ogbonna and Souček for me. Both really good players.
On the same note, who's probably underperformed the most for West Ham this season? Who's been the most disappointing?
Yeah, the most disappointing. It's a tough one. I mean, because we had such a good 11. The thing is with Moyes is he has that 11 and he will stick to it. So it's like if that 11's performing well, you see, okay, they're all doing well. There's no one that's really a weak link. I mean, it's been disappointing with how Allé's got, how it's working out with Allé. I mean, he's still, I think, our top goal scorer, but he's someone who divides the fan base massively. Some people just think he's no good. I like Allé a lot. I just think we don't play to his strengths, and we're not really getting the most out of him like Frankfurt did. So I'd say that's been the most disappointing this season. Although he scored, a worldie against Palace, and he's been chipping goals here and there, but it's just not been what we need.
He has been getting a fair few goals. I think he's done okay this season. I think he's definitely improved on last year.
Yeah, well, he's already equaled, I think, the amount of goals he scored last season. So there's definitely an improvement. I just think we need to try and bring him into play a bit more and then play to his strengths and get more chances for him, because some of our crosses have been poor. But he likes to link up with players, play like quick 1-2 touches and then get into the box and score. So I just think we need to do better. So it's not so much disappointing. Like I don't think he's good, just disappointing with, I feel like there's more we could be getting out of him.
So would you say he's probably the worst player this season so far?
Yeah, it's tough because I think worst player is harsh. I mean, if I was to say the worst player on the pitch, it's harsh to say on Noble because he's age, but he hasn't played much. But when he has played, he's just not there. He's not built for. People say his legs have gone. It's the age thing. I just don't think he's up to speed with what we need really. And then for now started really well, but he's missed a lot of big chances. But I can't say he's the worst. It's really hard to say. Like this is the worst player. Last season, it would have been so easy. I could have picked a few. Roberto, clear and head and shoulders, but we haven't had.
I remember him.
Yeah, honestly, awful keeper. Like that was someone you could say is the worst. But this season, I think it's been steady. Like there's no one I can say like that player is bad. Like I said, Mark Noble being in the side is not his fault, but it just didn't fit, and I don't understand why Moyes did it. But if I had to push, I'd say Noble. But again, he that was like he's had 2 starts all season. So
I think it's a similar situation with us. We've had it's harsh to call anyone the worst player, considering I think our entire team's up the game since last season.
Yeah,
even the ones who are still underperforming a bit are underperforming less than they were last year, perhaps.
Exactly, but then last season you might have been able to pick out certain players and going like, that's the weak link. That is the player that's, holding us back, and it's similar. Yeah, like I said, it's hard, really hard to pick, which is a good thing. It's always a good thing that there's no clear. I mean, I would have thought Craig Dawson, if you would have told me about him, I would have said worst sign. He hasn't really played, but I would have been able to say that, yeah, him. But he made his debut against Southampton, and apart from nearly kicking Shay Adams' head off, he had a pretty steady game.
That sounds fairly steady. Thankfully, he missed his head.
Yeah, I wonder how he did. Have you not seen? He literally kicked him in the head.
No, I haven't seen the game, to be honest. It was
basically Shay Adams was on the floor. He comes up. He's trying to kick the ball, but Shay Adams' head pops up and he boots his head, and his head hits the ball, and the ball moves and nearly goes in the back of the net. Literally boots him straight in the head.
Interesting.
But yeah, so watch out if any of your players are playing. He might end up bloody kicking one of your guys in the head. Hopefully not. But yeah,
like to think not. So yeah, going into this game, what's the likely lineup? What could we expect to see starting 11-wise?
Oh my god! This question, I've been racking my brain to think what is Moyes going to do in this game, because the starting lineups have been so just. You could not call them for the past few games. It's been so random. You're looking at certain players and you're like, what? How is that player? Where did that come from? But if I was to predict it, I think you might stick with the back five. Again, Moyes could just prove this could be completely wrong, but definitely Fabianski's going to start in goal. Probably Ogbonna, Creswell and Dawson again. I think I can see him sticking with that back line unless any of them are completely tired. I think Fredericks, he'll keep his place just to give Sofal a bit of rest, and he played well, Fredericks. And then on the left, I'd like to see Ben Johnson come back in. He scored against Brighton. He scored against Brighton. And then, yeah, I think Rice and Souček, regardless of the fixture pile-up, I just think you have to start them. We're going to have to go strong against Everton. We're really going to have to go strong. So the rest is not an option for those guys. And then I think Bowen will come back into the side. And then probably Antonio. I think Antonio could start. And then you have maybe Ben Rama as well. I'd like to think that now's the time he'd look to start Ben Rama, maybe give Fornals a rest. And then I'm missing someone in that, and I can't remember who, but that's roughly the lineup I think he'll go with. But again, he could surprise me completely and pull a name out of the hat that I haven't even thought of. Yeah, Yarmolenko, who actually done well against you guys last season at Goodison Park. He might start.
Yarmolenko always does well against us. I'll be astonished if he doesn't pick him.
Yeah. That is someone I think he does better from the bench, but yeah, I think he could feature. So we could see Yarmolenko again. He looked pretty good. I just think fitness-wise, he's not there to be able to do a full 90 minutes. But yeah, I think this could be a game where Antonio looks pretty good when he came on. I think he could go and give Antonio a start in this game.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one to see. Who would you say Antonio's the danger man then if he plays?
Yeah. Absolutely, he's relentless. The fact that the runs that he makes, the strength that he has, the pace, the hold-up play, he's got so many attributes. How good he is in the air. We've been pretty good on set pieces this season. So then you've got having Antonio in the box, Souček and Ogbonna. It's really going to be difficult. And with Dawson plays, I think he was known for scoring goals at, I think it was West Brom or something like that. Before,
yeah, he has a lot of set-piece goals.
Yeah, so if we get some corners, it's going to be a real headache for your players to mark, because you're not going to know who's the danger man to maybe double up on. And there's a lot of options. And I think if Antonio can at least create space for Souček to make some good movement while the crosses are coming in, I think that will be huge. So yeah, I think the set pieces is definitely one. I don't know how if you guys have improved on set pieces, because I know last season that was a big weakness for you guys. So
yeah, no, it has been better this season. We're quite good at scoring from them. So I think either way, I think it could work both ways. With both teams could be a threat in the opposition area from set pieces.
Yeah, because that was the big criticism I had when you guys came to our ground when we played you guys. I know we won at your ground. I can't remember what the result was when you came to us, if you won or it was a draw. But I remember the frustration was we were sort of trying to walk into the back of the net and not actually shooting from outside the box and trying to cause a corner. When you guys were so weak on defending set pieces at the time, it was like, let's try and get some corners. And we just was not getting any corners in that game. And yeah, that was frustrating. So, I mean, it's great for you guys that you've improved on defending them because, like I said, we have been really good, really dangerous on it. We've got a lot of players that can hurt you, but we've also got Antonio who can make great runs and score. So it's going to be a really interesting game, especially with the players that you guys have got now and the team, the solid team that you've built, you know.
It's an interesting one because obviously we're down to the bare bones a little bit. I mean, we've had a bit more of a rest because of the postponement of the City game, but we've also got quite a depleted squad. A lot of our key players are injured. You mentioned James Rodriguez before. Alan's a crucial player for us. He's missing. Luca Dean's a very important attacking and defensive player. So obviously to miss him at left back, that's really important as well. I think that's the fact that we've got some good results lately is testament to Carlo Ancelotti's adaptability, really, because there was no way I saw us getting anything out of some of those games with probably 4 of our most important players missing.
Yeah, absolutely, and that shows again, like I said, the manager and actually some of the depth and maybe getting sort of more out of the players that last season might have been sort of players that you were looking to move on, and things like that. I see even Sigurdsson popped up with a goal recently, didn't he?
Yeah, he's been atrocious. Well, for even the start of this season, but he started to pick up a little bit, which is good. And there's been a fair few players who obviously been called into question in the past year or so, and you've seen them turn up a little bit more lately. Alex Iwobi, for instance, he's been slightly better. I mean, he's still far from what we'd have hoped, I think, from in terms of what we paid for him, but he has started to show glimpses of what he can do. But we've still got to wait and see like how we set up as well against you guys and see what the sort of dynamic is between both sides and how we go for the game. So obviously David Moyes and Carlo Ancelotti are both very pragmatic managers. So they might be waiting for the first person to sort of, blink.
Yeah.
It could be a bit of a tactical battle.
Yes, it's going to be interesting. Again, like the lineups, I think, are going to be key. So yeah, it's going to come down to the tactics, and both managers are going to have to get their selection spot on. Moyes, definitely has to go make sure he's picking the right players. And I think if you have got someone, like again, obviously as you mentioned, both managers being pragmatic, I think having someone like a Ben Rama who has that bit of flair, but he does chip in with the defensive work, I think will be key, because then he can find those little pockets of space and try and get the ball to Antonio, maybe if we're trying to maybe get him behind, or, just create some chances and put some decent crosses in and be able to take on players. I think he could be key in this game. So I'd really like to see him start. But as long as Moyes doesn't just make any shocking decisions like starting Noble again or anything like that, we could have a really good game. It could be a really good game, and it's going to be a hard one to call, a really hard one to call. But obviously, when you look at the results and over the course of the season, even though you've got Rodriguez out, you've got Richarlison and you guys are probably the favourites for the game. Especially is it at Goodison or is it our
Goodison? Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one, and I look at it and. In the grand scheme of our season, we do need to start picking up wins again now, because we've been getting, quite a few draws lately. And now we need to start getting some 3 points back on the board. I think in the grand scheme of things, a point at Goodison would be good. And then we've got Burnley and West Brom next, where we can try and get 6 points out of those 2 games. So, if we can somehow win it, it'd be massive. But yeah, I think even a point would be a good result.
So yeah, we'll finish with predictions. What would you go with?
Oh, that's a tough one. All right, I'm going to try and be sensible, not think with my heart too much, think with my head, and I can see it being a 2-2. I can see a 2-2.
Yeah, I was going to say I was going to say we did 2-1. I think it is one of them. We've been winning a fair few games, but they always seem to be by the odd goal. It's, like I say, very pragmatic stuff a lot of the time. And I think it's going to be a 2-1 win, but I think it's going to be a very, very hard fought one. It's going to be an interesting battle. And, I think it's going to be one of them where, I mean, it's Everton, so you're always biting your nails till the final whistle anyway. So it'll probably be one of those.
I think Antonio being back is going to be huge. And hopefully if he's 100%, I think that could be a key difference in us getting more goals. But hopefully, like I said, it's a good game. And hopefully VAR doesn't come into play and do any madness like it has been.
Just keep that at arm's length. That'll do nicely.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the way we want to start the year, but no, I'm really looking forward to the game. And yeah, like I said, it's just been one of them seasons where I'm I can say that about Moyes is, it's not to say that we've been playing this great attacking football, but I'm looking forward to us playing more because there's always a possibility that, we can go out and win against anyone. And even when we go behind, we can come back, whereas before our heads would drop. So I always have a feeling of going into any game feeling like we can win it, even, where we might have just got battered in a game before. So I think that's what gives me a little bit more excitement.
That is one of the few positives. I think that's one of the few positives I recall from even the darker spells under David Moyes. There was always just seems to be he bounced back a bit, which is that's always there's always shoots of positivity from that kind of thing. I think Ancelotti's got a similar thing, but it's certainly something I recall from the obviously 11 years of experience I've got of David Moyes is that there is power of recovery there. So that's got to be positive for you guys. And obviously, we'll see what happens on New Year's Day. Hopefully it'll be a happy new year for one of us.
Yeah, that's it. So fingers crossed.
Of course, we'll finish off. We finish with a bit of a random question. Favorite film?
Favorite film. That's hard. I'm a big Star Wars fan, so I have to go with Star Wars, and it's always a toss up between Empire Strikes Back or Revenge of the Sith. So I'll have to say it depends what day it is, but yeah, I'm big on Star Wars. But yeah, I love films in general, so it's usually a hard one.
Interesting. So which one of those two? Total 5 or 3?
Yeah, do you know what? I just because of a lot of this nostalgia and just the film in general, I have to go with Empire Strikes Back. I'm gonna twisted my arm, so I'm gonna go with that one. But yeah, both films are great.
Well, there you have it, guys. Let us know your opinions on obviously the build up to this game and how you're feeling going into it. If you're a West Ham fan, an Everton fan, whatever, just drop us a comment below and let us know what your sort of mood is going into this game. Everton fans, I can imagine you're very much chomping at the bit after missing one a couple of days ago. So, really let us know how you feel going into this game. Hopefully, see what happens, but hopefully it'll be a happy new year for us all and, all the best. But why not? Let's pitchforks down for a minute and wish everyone a happy new year. Let's hope 2021's a bit of a better one, eh?
Absolutely.
There you have it, guys. Thank you for tuning in on the Toffee Blues, and we'll see you next time.